One of the first reasons why you should not buy the MacBook Neo is if you want a laptop that's going to last you a long time. All those compromises Apple made to make it so cheap, such as the chip, battery size, and especially the 8 gigs of memory, are going to catch up as macOS and pretty much every app out there continues to get more and more power and RAM hungry year after year. Meaning, if you plan to keep this thing for the next, say, 5 years, it probably won't feel anywhere near as snappy by then and likely will struggle with the battery life as well, just like we eventually saw with the older Intel MacBooks. And that is just the first of 10 reasons why you might not want to buy this thing. Hi, my name is Alex and I like to talk about tech. So the MacBook Neo is in many ways absolutely great. I bought one the day it came out and I've been absolutely loving it. But much like Pazak, it's not for everyone. That is a joke like 5 people are gonna understand. So in this video, I'm gonna do my best Keanu Reeves impression. Whoa. And play devil's advocate to tell you all the reasons why you should not buy the MacBook Neo. And this might seem like an obvious one, but you should not buy the MacBook Neo if you don't need a new laptop.
Oh, he's the Captain Obvious guy.
Look, I promise I'm not being condescending here because, well, I actually fit into this category. I did not need to buy this thing at all. I have an M4 MacBook Air, as well as a ThinkPad for work, and a gaming PC, and an older iPad Air, and a bunch of other stuff, and I genuinely don't need another device at all. But I was just so curious about what this new budget MacBook would be like that I went ahead and bought one anyway. And sure, I rationalized it by saying I could give it to my wife.
Phrasing?
But still, I think we as tech nerds tend to get a little excited and end up buying things we don't even need. So if you don't need a new laptop, do yourself a favor and save those $600 for something else instead. Like one 8GB RAM stick. Next, don't buy the Neo if you want to do heavy stuff like 3D modeling, photo editing, or coding, and so on.
He's the Captain Obvious guy.
The Neo absolutely can handle some heavier tasks. I made a video about how well it performs when video editing, which you can check out right here on my channel. But it will hit a wall, and probably a lot sooner than you'd want it to. If you're only doing a light bit of work, like touching up a photo or two once a week, then sure, you won't feel the limitations, but if you're regularly doing even a bit of heavy work, this is not the laptop for you. And that leads into the next category, which is gamers. You know how you'll read an article about how they managed to get the original Doom running on a printer? Well, the MacBook Neo is basically one step up from that in that you might be able to get Doom 3 running on it. Just so we're clear, if you want to play small, older games, you can probably do it. So Baldur's Gate 1 and 2, yay. Baldur's Gate 3, only if you want to play it in slideshow format. Even if you're not a power user or a gamer right now, you also have to consider whether you might become one in the near future. Maybe you're dreaming of becoming a YouTuber, or you have an idea for a video game you want to start working on eventually. Now, I'm not saying you can't get started on some of those things on the Neo, but again, you're going to reach the ceiling of how much it can handle pretty quickly, which is going to stop you from then doing those things. And look, I know, as tech enthusiasts, we're always looking for an excuse to buy the most OP maxed out version of whatever we want because, well, I might need those extra 10 GPU cores someday. I don't know why I did that voice. Like, I'm very much the guy I'm making fun of here. Do I sound like that? Anyway, you should not buy something ridiculously overpowered and overpriced just to avoid this potential issue. But I'm just saying, the Neo is not a computer that has much room for growth. Of course, you could also just trade it in or sell it once you find out you need something more powerful, but you also should not buy the MacBook Neo if you hope to get even a decent amount of money back on it from a trade-in. First of all, there's the obvious reason. It's cheap, so you can't get a lot of money back since it doesn't cost a lot of money. Subscribe to my channel for more expert financial advice like this. Second, the Neo has sold incredibly well, meaning the market is highly saturated. Since a lot of people have one, they're not exactly rare, so when people do try to sell them used, they won't be able to charge as much since other sellers could just underbid them. I've already seen the Neo on sale for around $400 on Facebook Marketplace, so you probably won't be able to get much back if you want to sell it several years from now. Then there are the rumors, which most likely will come true in some form, of the Neo getting a successor next year, which might see a few notable upgrades such as more RAM, which will push down the resale value of the OG Neo even more. And that's not even counting the fact that Apple's own trade-in program tends to devalue laptops pretty quickly, which I can attest to since my $1,600 MacBook Air. Yes, I'm dumb. I could have gotten a base model Pro for that. I know. It will only get me roughly half of that, in spite of only being a year old and in perfect condition. So don't expect to get much of anything if you do get a Neo and plan to trade it in later. Next, you should stay away from the MacBook Neo if you're looking for a premium experience. Again, maybe it seems obvious that buying the cheapest version of something isn't going to give you a premium experience, but so much has been made of how well built the Neo actually is, from the aluminum body to the keyboard and so on, that you'd be forgiven for thinking that using this thing is exactly the same as using one of the higher end MacBooks. But while it is great, as someone who's used the Neo and the Air side by side, the Neo does feel like a step down in a couple of ways. It's a bit smaller, the bezels are thicker, the mechanical trackpad feels less premium, the keys aren't backlit, and even the design language of the colors matched with the new macOS does give off a more playful vibe rather than a professional or expensive vibe. Don't get me wrong, I still love the Neo, but it is not as premium feeling, neither in terms of looks or how it feels to use, as even the Air or especially the Pro. Now, if you're still thinking the MacBook Neo is still the best value deal you can get from Apple, well, it's not. It's a good deal, and it's definitely great if you insist on buying something brand new directly from Apple. But if you look around just a bit, you can find MacBooks at close to the same price with way fewer compromises. Before the Neo came out, I saw the M4 Air on sale for around $750, meaning for just $150, you'd get a better screen, better processor, more memory, more storage, backlit keys, a better trackpad, pretty much an upgrade in every single way, except for the colors.
Where's the blue?
Where's the what?
The blue color.
I don't know. To my eye, it's kind of blue.
A little.
Now, Apple was smart enough to remove that deal as soon as the Neo launched, and they've also made sure to not have anything too cheap on sale in their own certified refurbished section, but you can still find some pretty decent deals out there if you're willing to do some digging. I did one Google search and instantly found an M2 MacBook Air with 16 gigs of memory for just $645 at Walmart. And that's not to mention what you might be able to find if you buy one used on Facebook Marketplace or anywhere else like that. Though that does come with a unique cost of its own. The other side of that equation is, of course, what you can get for $600 that's not a MacBook. Other reviewers have made whole videos comparing the Neo to equivalently priced Windows laptops, and depending on what you value most, like having an OLED screen or the ability to play any game that wasn't made in 1998,
Sick burn.
you absolutely can find a better value proposition out there, especially if you're not invested in the Apple ecosystem. Meaning, if you don't already have an iPhone plus an iPad and AirPods and all that stuff, then you don't really need a MacBook as your primary laptop. In fact, I'd argue that Windows laptops, for all their many flaws, are a bit more versatile overall, allowing you more freedom to use it in whichever way you want, whether that means the different apps and so on you can use, or the ability to tinker with the setup and configuration of it, or maybe even just having a file system that doesn't suck.
Shots fired.
macOS is great in a lot of ways, and it's certainly not as prone to random errors as its Windows counterpart, but you are still sacrificing a whole lot of freedom and flexibility for the sake of locking yourself into an ecosystem that, by the way, will never be as affordable to navigate either. So if you're not already lost in the maze of Apple's walled garden, you might want to stay out of it for now. And finally, the last reason why you might want to skip out on buying the MacBook Neo is if you can wait for a better one. Like I mentioned earlier, there are already rumors about a potential Neo 2 coming out as early as spring next year, which will likely have more RAM as well as a better chip and a few other quality of life upgrades. However, there's no guarantee when, or technically even if, we will see this thing, and we also don't know if any of those rumored upgrades are actually true or if they'll come with a price bump. But still, just like Apple itself has a tendency to not be an early adopter, but instead like to wait until the technology has become more refined before they jump into a market, you too could use the same strategy and wait until Apple has ironed out the rough edges of its first generation budget laptop. Alright, that's it for this video. If you made it this far, do give it a like and subscribe to see more tech related content. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.